What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P. We are back here once again. And shout out to LNU. It is Monday, so you know what it is. We are live on LNU. We are also live on Motor City Cats. You already know. We got some exciting things coming up. Hopefully, by the end of this week, after the Hall of Fame game, it is only a few days until we get to see Detroit Lions football. So before we get into all the things that we are going to get into, when you see me on your TV, you already know that is one thing for certain and three things for sure. One thing is that the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two is that we came to give you stats and none of that static. And number three, whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And you may be asking yourself, well, how do I do that, Don P? How do I keep my Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's very easy. You smash that like button, you subscribe, you share, you let everybody know what is going on around here, how illustrious it is up in this fan cave, and what we are doing, the types of things we are talking about, and all that. And that is it. That is that. You have kept your Lions news pragmatic. So let's go ahead and get into what we got to get into today. We got training camp, bro. I mean, if you thought we were going to talk about something else, you weren't paying attention to the news that is going on around town. It is training camp. It is day, 6 or 7? I lost track, bro. They had that Saturday start, which kind of threw me off a little bit. So I believe this is day 7 of training camp. We got to talk about some coordinators, bro. We've got to talk about the coordinators. But again, as I said, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be here. I don't know. I don't think I'll be on LNU, but I'll be on Motor City Cats. We will be streaming the game live. First time I've ever streamed the Hall of Fame game, and I'm not even going to lie to you. I don't remember the last time I watched the Hall of Fame game. I don't watch it. We've got expectations. Like we're going to see J-Mo out there. Like we're going to see Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like we know we're not. But it just feels that way. It feels like the Detroit Lions are going to be playing football. And in some capacity, you are correct. They are going to be playing football. Members of the Detroit Lions are going to be out there. Hendon Hooker, I heard he's looking good. And they're talking about his trade value going up at the right time. Listen, man. Listen, I got an article where they talk about Hendon Hooker and his trade value. Look, again, Hendon Hooker is a person who was essentially given a vote of non-confidence when the playoffs came and we said, you know what? We good on Hendon. Teddy, come on back out the high school ranks. We know you were just coaching and you were successful and you won a state championship with your team, but we gonna need you to come on in just in case Jared gets dinged. And Jared did get dinged, and he went out for a couple of plays. And the play that we scored on was Teddy Bridgewater handing the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Amon-Ra St. Brown pitching it back to Jameson Williams on the reverse. Hendon Hooker couldn't have done that. I mean, Hendon Hooker couldn't have just handed the ball off. You didn't trust him to do that in the playoffs. So if you didn't trust him to do that in the playoffs, why should we believe that you trust him to do anything else at any other time? Trade value, you say? Pish posh. Fi, I say. Pish posh, poppycock, boulder dash, cap. Don't be a capologist. Do not be a capologist. I don't think Hendon Hooker's trade value is going to go up or down regardless of how he performs in this preseason. Because at the end of the day, the only thing he can do to raise his trade value is to beat out Kyle Allen. And then if he beats out Kyle Allen, then he's your backup for the Detroit Lions, and he has that job the entire year. No one is trading him. Forget trading for him. No one is trading him. If he proves that he is who we thought he used to be in preseason, and camp, then we keep him on our roster. He's our backup. If he can't beat out Kyle Allen, then who are you trading him to? Are you trading him for what? A bag of Better Made chips and a Faygo Pop? Is that what you're doing? I mean, and people around the country might not want that. You know, that's a Detroit thing. You throw in a bottle of Vernors as well. Okay, you can throw in a bottle of Vernors. They might, you know, somebody in Chicago might do something. Somebody in Indianapolis might do something. I'm only because these are Midwestern cities, so that's why I'm talking about them. Nobody in California is about to come trade you for some Faygo, some Better Made, and some Vernors. I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, before I get too deep into the conversation, let's give a shout out to Old Wolf. He says, what up, Dome? He says, we will be saying Ben Who after the first game. All right. Just a fan, what up, though? Shout out to you. He says, MCDP, when you were at camp, what did you see? Not Lions camp, but in the Outback. Listen, man, I don't camp. I'm not about to be in the Outback with all them snakes and them critters, and I can't do it. I don't get down like that. I love my kangaroos, my wallabies, you know, wombats and all those things. But, you know, they're not dangerous. And if you don't piss them off, they won't harm you. A snake is, you know, that's just something else. Snake is like, you know, I see you in my hood, homie. I don't think you should be here. You know what I'm saying? What block you live on? Because you don't live around here. And then next thing you know, you getting wrapped up and your head getting bit off. I'm not dealing with that. No, sir. What up, though? Flying Hawaiian. He's back. He's back. He's back from flying, or is he flying again? Or I don't know. Shout out. Shout out my Polynesian folks. Let's see. Okay, we got some. Justin Fan says Hendon Hooker's supposed strength was being older and he was going to be able to learn the Lions offense quickly. How did that work out? We'll talk about that. Lions defense will be better under Shep, and the offense should keep rolling under Morton as long as O-line holds up. Maybe some early growing pains. So yeah, we're gonna get into that. The Hendon Hooker thing, I'll just address that like this. Hendon Hooker was supposed to be able to learn the offense. He was supposed to be able to do all things as a backup quarterback without any reps. Reps in training camp, reps in the preseason, that's not real football. I'm sorry. I'm apologize to y'all in advance. I'm going to bring this up. The Detroit Lions were 4-0 when they were 0-16. They were 4-0 in the preseason. Okay. And then the regular season showed you that the preseason was not football. So there's nothing really that I will see in the preseason or in camp that will really excite me, except for people that I already know that can do it. When we talk about Jahmyr Gibbs, we talk about his expanded role. We talk about him running routes, okay, being a wide receiver. Like I said before, when that report came out and Kirby was like, that's cap, right? Kirby is trying to throw cold water on it, and it's already out the bag, Kirby. Sorry, you can't do nothing about that. When we talked about this before, I told you, if they line up Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams on the same side, it is going to be a wrap. Coverage is rolling all the way over to that side. If they got, single high safety, that safety's over there. If they're doing two safeties, both safeties are over there, okay? And you just got on the other side, you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, you got, maybe Tesla, maybe Timmy P, whoever. And they're like, well, look, y'all corners over there, you're going to have to do it man on man. You're going to have to lock them down. Okay, and then you got Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot. They're gonna be like, look, I know as a linebacker you need some help on Amon-Ra St. Brown, but we can't afford to give you any because if we allow this man Jahmyr Gibbs, aka the electrician baby, aka Agent Zero, aka Sonic, you know, aka your favorite player's favorite player. You know what it is. If we let that man get any space, we are cooked indeed. If we let Jameson Williams release man on man, we are cooked downfield. There's no purpose of even chasing after him. Once he gets past that defender, which will happen in the first 3 yards of the route, and blows by him, and Jared Goff hooks that thing up, just turn around and start walking to the sidelines. So when I see things like that, when I see things like Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery being on the field at the same time, something we clamored for when Osama bin Johnson was here. We clamored for it, but we didn't get it. Okay, it's not to the degree that we wanted it. None of that. We didn't get it. But that's something we clamored for, and that's something now Johnny Moe is going to give us. So when I see things like that, yes, I'm excited. Right? When I see things like that unfolding, new wrinkles being put into the offense to try to get our explosive players exploding, to use all of our weapons, okay? That excites me. Everything else, I'm sorry, the Hall of Fame game doesn't excite me. Rookies don't excite me. Right? I try to take the rookies with a grain of salt because we already know the preseason is not real football. The preseason does get competitive when you got guys at the bottom of the roster trying to make the team. But the starters, for the most part, aren't even playing, especially on our team. There's other teams that will play their starters from time to time, maybe a series here or there. Okay, it used to be when we have 4 preseason games that the third preseason game was the dress rehearsal, that you were going to get an entire half pretty much guaranteed from your starting offense and defense. But now that they've switched to 3 preseason games, okay, and if they go to 18 games for the regular season, there will probably only be 2 preseason games. Okay, and the Hall of Fame game will make it 3 for whoever participates. It's just it's a glorified like practice scrimmage. That's what the preseason is now. So it's not exciting, but there are some things to look forward to. Obviously, we want to see what these guys look like on the field in some capacity, right? In full Lions attire, game day uniforms and all of that. We want to see what they look like. We want to see what kind of optimism we can have. I just take my preseason optimism is forever tied to 4-0 and 0-16. Preseason doesn't matter. I don't care about it. If I wasn't a content creator, okay, I'm gonna stop lying. Okay, I'm gonna stop lying. If I wasn't a content creator, I wouldn't be streaming anything. But I definitely would be watching these games. It's Lions football, and I love Lions football. I love the NFL. Okay, and when they put games on television, I watch. No matter what it is. No matter if I'm watching with bated breath, no matter if I'm watching just to have it on in the background, like the Hall of Fame game. I'm gonna tell you, I'm probably gonna stream the first half. And I don't know if I'm gonna stream the whatever, but the first half for sure. And then I might stab out. All right, let me get to some of y'all's comments. You said a snake is like Ben Johnson for sure. Shout out, shout out to Derek Lion Syndicate. He calls him Benedict Snake Johnson. I just call him Osama Ben. You know what I'm saying? Osama Ben. You got a call on line 3. You know. What up though, Lisa De Lorenzo? She says, "Hello, Don P. I'm not worried about the offense at all, and I guess I'm the lone member from Lions Nation Unite. I guess there's some people in here. There's a lot of people in here watching that ain't talking. And get in the chat, man. This is training camp time. Hey, we are ramping up. We are back, baby. The off season is essentially over. It is back to football. The off season was a struggle. It was a grind, my friend. Okay? Trying to put out content every day, trying to sit in front of y'all and talk. Shout out to the writers, man. Shout out to John, the Doc, Macaron. Shout out to Detroit Free Press, and there's a lot of other people to shout out, and there's people I won't shout out because I don't fool with them. If I see you, I don't speak, I don't mess with you. Okay. Hashtag if you know, use the hashtag. But shout out to them because a lot of our content in the off season comes from reacting to their articles because we don't have football to react to. Okay. And they disseminate a lot of information. Shout out to them. I don't think without them, I couldn't do what I do. Like, so I'm not at camp. I'm not even in States, right? I planned to be at camp this off season, but things fell through. Who knows? Maybe we'll do it next off season. But so shout out to the heavies, shout out to all the other Lions creators where I'm able to just, understand and get this information digested and disseminated to y'all in that Motor City Don P style. You already know what it is. All right. What up, though? TaylorMade Media. He says the NFL could stream 7-on-7 camps and folks would pay for it. Facts. I'm one of those folks. I am folks. When you're talking about folks, I am folks right now. I was going to make a reference that I'm not going to make. Okay. But if you know what the folks are, you know. That is why you should be excited for the Hall of Fame game, Don. Football is starting. I'm excited that football is starting. I can't be excited for the Hall of Fame game. I can't because I don't watch it regularly. Like, I'm only watching it, to be honest with you, because I'm going to be really, really honest with you. I don't know when the Hall of Fame game starts regularly, right? I know it starts at 8 p.m. Eastern this Thursday. But normally, like, I will be sitting, I'm like, oh, snap. The Hall of Fame game was on. That's the Hall of Fame game for me. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm kind of bitter that the Hall of Fame is in Canton. Oh, hell no. Right. I don't like the fact that our great sport has the Hall of Fame in such a terrible place. And shout out to those people that live there who attack me because of my what do they call it? My tribal views on football. Well, brother, it's Detroit versus everybody, as I've said before. I don't care nothing about you if you're in the national spectrum of the NFL. You want to come over here and kumbaya with me? Come kumbaya. You want to have a problem? Detroit versus everybody. Go find it somewhere else. You did. Let's see what we got. What we got going on? TaylorMade up there. All right. What we got? All right. Flying Hawaiian says, I wish there was a team-by-team plan on NFL Plus because I could give an F about the rest of the NFL. Well, that would be kind of hard, right? So it's like the Lions are playing the Baltimore Ravens. The NFL would be like, well, you got to buy the Baltimore Ravens plan in order to see this game. So you would have to buy, like, how many opponents do they have? They have 3 divisional opponents. that goes for 6 games. So they have 11 more games, right? So they have 11 more games. What do they have? Like 11 opponents or something like that? I'm blanking on this. No, 14 opponents. Sorry. Not 14. See, math is not my strong suit. Somebody help me out. So you've got, like I said, you've got 3 teams that you played twice. That's 6 games. Okay. You have 11 more games. Yeah, 14 opponents. Yeah. Okay. I was right. Because you play 11 more opponents on top of the 3. So you got 14 opponents. You would have to buy 15 plans. I'm telling you, that's how the NFL would do it. You would have to buy a plan for every opponent that you have, plus your Lions plan. So it probably just works out better that you just get the whole thing. Nah, it's not 13. it's 14. Yeah, I got it. Right? 17 minus 6 equals 11 minus 13 equals 14. Yeah, I got it. I put it together, I got it in. All right. Let's talk about what we came here to talk about. Today, your coordinator, Johnny Mo, is the man. I'm going to tell you one thing, and y'all might not have realized this. When he was talking about Jon Gruden, who shout out to Jon Gruden, he is at camp the entire week, so he is going to be there up through the Hall of Fame game. So you'll probably see Chucky and Canton. But Johnny Mo sounds like Jon Gruden. He talks like him. Their voices are somewhat similar. Obviously, Jon Gruden is a more amped up person. But from what Jon Gruden said about Johnny Mo, is that Johnny Mo is actually more amped up than him. He said he's a crazy man. Okay. He was like, people think I'm crazy. This guy's crazy. Okay. Now, I hope Johnny Mo isn't the same type of crazy as Jon Gruden, because we know Jon Gruden likes to send emails to people and talk about different races and ethnicities and other types of backgrounds in a way in which he shouldn't do that. I understand locker room talk, but if you put locker room talk on a like, you leave a paper trail with locker room talk, you're stupid. You're not just dumb, you're stupid. I know a guy who leaves paper trails when he tries to threaten people. It's crazy. I got the paper trails. One day they will be released, guy. So don't forget. I got the paper trails. I got the documents. So, but that's just the thing. When you threaten people, when you engage in illegal activity, don't make a record of it. That's criminology 101. If you're going to be a criminal, don't record it. Don't record yourself committing crimes. That's the fastest way to get caught. Don't do that. All right. Let's see. That is why Jon Gruden is no longer in the NFL. Correct. Because he's not just dumb, he's stupid. He recorded himself with illegal activity. Okay, you send emails, that is a paper trail. You don't have control over it. Okay, you don't have control over the emails. I just want to let you guys know this. For those of you who don't understand how technology works, once you send an email, that's it. It's gone. It's in the other person's possession. You could try to delete it all you want. You can't unsend it. Okay? Just say it. It's not like a WhatsApp message when you can. Can you? Yeah, you can delete the message before they see it. I think they've now increased the time because it used to be like it had to be 15 minutes, and like after 15 minutes you couldn't delete it. I think now that it's a lot longer than that. What up, though? Tactical Sport. Frank the Tank is here. What up, though? Um, yeah. your phone emojis. All right. So Frank the Tank, East Side. What up? East Side till I die. You already know what it is. He says we all need to relax. A week ago, we were all freaking out because people are getting hurt, and now we see they played week one yet to go Lions. We are freaking out about people getting injured because they were getting injured in an area where we don't have any depth. Right? You get injured on the defensive line, you have no depth. All right. So again, Johnny Mo was at the podium. So for me, I watched it last night while I was in the gym. I don't know what, I guess it was about 8 a.m. Where you guys are. So it was like 10 p.m. for me. Johnny Mo had a lot of interesting things to say. So let's break down some of his philosophies. Philosophy number one, and I think most importantly, I'm trying to use all of the weapons that we have. I'm trying to make the defense react to us. I like to make the defense uncomfortable. It's fun. Right? Imagine a man saying, I like the defense to have to be worried about who they're going to match up with because we have our 5 best players out on the field. Remember when we were asking, we were clamoring, we were begging Osama bin to go ahead and put David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs out in some 2-back sets. If it happened, and I'm sure it happened so infrequently, I don't even remember it. I don't want to say specifically that Osama bin Johnson. I don't want to say specifically that he was holding J-Mo back. But J-Mo has commented about Johnny Mo allowing him to run more routes. So Johnny Mo was talking about that in his press conference, and he talked about how basically he's been phenomenal. You know, he's been learning, he's been running the routes crisply, like he's added to his repertoire. I'm going to chalk that up to development. Okay, I'm going to chalk that up to development because, as Johnny Mo said, they don't run all the routes in college. Okay, so if you don't run all the routes in college, J-Mo in college, and this is why I am the official keeper of the J-Mo. Okay, because I have to keep and protect this man from some of the fans and some of the national media. In college, J-Mo was a deep ball getter. Okay. A sugar cookie, man. I'm a rapper. I'm not a sugar cookie getter. Okay. Shout out if you know, use the hashtag. He was a deep ball getter. Tua Tagovailoa would throw the ball deep and J-Mo would go get it. Okay. That was his job at Alabama. His job was not primarily to do the same type of routes or run the same type of routes that Amon-Ra St. Brown runs. Okay. The quick slants. Okay. The hitches. Okay. Now he's definitely going to run a hitch and go. Boy, don't you bite on that double move. If J-Mo runs a sluggo or a hitch and go, you, my friend, walk to the sideline. Because if you bite on that hitch, walk to the sideline. It's a wrap. Just go over there and take your helmet off and go have a seat next to your coach, because it's done. Okay, we putting 6 on the board, and our offense is running off the field unless we go for 2. Okay, but JMO wasn't doing everything. So when you are not used to doing everything, when you're not used to running all of the routes, okay, everybody knows the route tree. Okay, everybody knows the route tree from 0 to 9. Okay, that doesn't mean you are proficient in running it. That doesn't mean you can run every route. Okay, so when we say expanding the route tree, this means you add this route to your repertoire because you did not come into the league with 0 through 9 in your bag. Some people came into the league with 9 in their bag, and that was it. And that was, essentially what JMO had. He had that 9. He had that go. Not too much else. So yes, young receivers do have to develop a route tree. Right? It is not when they say, oh, he's developing the route tree, you're like, oh, he doesn't know the route tree. No, he knows what the route tree is. Okay. If you tell him to run a 1, he knows what it is, but the nuances and also being on track and on time with your quarterback. How does your quarterback like you to run this route? So on and so forth. It's not just understanding what the route tree is and knowing the numbers and the route that they correspond to. So I'm going to chalk that up to just the development. Now, here's one thing I will say that is against Osama bin Johnson. I believe that Johnny Mo is more interested, more invested, I would say, in developing Jameson Williams. And the reason I believe that is because of his philosophy. He said he's trying to isolate people. He's trying to take shots. If you're trying to isolate people and take shots, there's no better place to look than Jameson Williams. Now, how does his development how does his development as a route runner help him take shots? Because you're like, well, he had the 9 when he came in. Why does he how do you help him take shots? The way that you help him take shots is if he can run every route, when you cover him, if you are unfortunate enough to be left in man coverage against Jameson Williams, now you don't just get to say, well, I'm just going to bail early because I know he's going deep. You don't get to do that. Right? So you are off guard because he has more tools in his bag than just the 9. Right? If he's got 5 routes, you got to study for all 5 of those routes, and you have to be prepared for all 5 of those routes. If you got 9 routes, you cook. There's nothing you can do because you don't know what he's going to do in any given time, in any given moment, and on any given play. You just don't know. Okay, so I would say, yes, Johnny Mo is a little bit more invested. I don't know how much more invested, but I would say more because the deep ball, the deep shot, the shot plays, whatever you want to call it, the explosives, that's what he wants in his offense. What else he had to say? He talked about, someone asked him about the trick plays, and he said, we're going to run whatever Dan wants us to run. That's what he said. And he said, but we're going to have all of that stuff in because it worked. And he said, we're not going to change things that work. So trick plays will still be a part of the offense. What I can probably tell you from listening to his press conference is that they're not going to go empty on 3rd and 1. What I can tell you from listening to his press conference is that they're probably not going to do a reverse pass with JMO down. What were they, down 10 at the time? Or were they down? Yeah, I think they were down 10 or 7. No, they were down 10, I believe. Okay. You're not going to run a reverse pass with J-Mo down 10 in the playoffs in the fourth quarter. It's probably not going to happen with Johnny Mo. Right? Johnny Mo talking about loving the process. He didn't take an offseason. He's been in the building, self-scouting the defense, trying to see what his concepts do against the defense. So he said he loves the prospect of sitting in his laboratory. Okay. Y'all thought Ben Johnson was a mad scientist, an evil genius. He's definitely evil. Okay. Benedict Johnson or Osama bin Johnson. He's definitely evil. Right. He's a turncoat and a terrorist. That's like you combine those two people into one, you got yourself a serial killer. Allegedly. I don't know of anybody's that have been found in Osama bin Johnson's purview. I'm not accusing him of being a serial killer. I'm saying he's got alleged traits. You know, the turncoatiness and the terrorism. Anyway, so he said he loves the prospect of being in his laboratory by himself. Okay. Y'all think Jack Campbell is a psychopath because he just like stares at the floor before games and he ain't listening to music. He ain't doing nothing. Right. Johnny Mo is a psychopath in his own right because he sits in his office in his laboratory by himself. He ain't got no other coaches in there. He ain't got no players in there. He's just by himself, breaking down defenses, dissecting defenses, and putting concepts together to keep them off balance. So I don't really have any issues with the offense. I have no issues with the offense. Before I move to the defense, let me get your comments in here. There's a whole conversation going on between Frank the Tank and Flying Hawaiian. I don't know how much of that I'm going to get to. Let's see. What I missed was playing Ghost of Tsushima. I never... so I played that game for probably 30 minutes. I didn't dislike it, but I just never returned to it. You know what is an underrated game? If you are a zombie man like myself, Days Gone is an underrated game. I wish so. Days Gone came out a little bit before everything had a multiplayer mode. I would love to have like a Days Gone zombies mode, just like Call of Duty zombies. Like they have hordes and everything in there. I think they may have put some of that stuff in because they did a remastered version, but the original version on PS4, it was phenomenal. But it was like, you know, anything that's kind of like a survival game with zombies, I'm here for it. If y'all have, there's a game called How to Survive and How to Survive 2. If you like those types of games, play them. How to Survive and How to Survive 2. It's on PlayStation. I wish they would come out with a How to Survive 3. But yeah, no, phenomenal. Very, very under the radar, very underrated game. So, all right. Let's see. What else we got? J-Mo has matured. That's most of it. True. That is true. I was watching Albert Breer. Albert Breer had a breakdown. He was at camp on day 3, and he was talking about how when the third team offense was out there, J-Mo was on the sideline with his helmet off. And whenever like a young receiver, like a Kenny James or a Jackson Meeks or any of those guys would come over, he would like put his arm around them and, you know, give them free game, you know? So shout out to J-Mo, man. I told y'all what kind of dude he was. I told y'all from jump. And look, for me to stand this man And for him to have gone to Oh Hell No State, y'all should have already known what kind of person he was and what type of player he was. For me to openly give it's not even an endorsement. I am his keeper. Am I my brother's keeper? Show enough. All right. Shout out. If you know, you know, use the hashtag. I know Mr. Morale knows that one. And Tactical, you probably know. I know TaylorMade, you probably know it too. Okay, I said something plausible. I don't know what I said. I was rolling. Sounds like Jameson Williams is saying Johnny Mo is far more experienced in the ways of the NFL. You know, hey, if the shoe fits, put it on. I don't think JMO even knew all the routes in college. He was. You think he didn't know that there were 9 of them? Is that what you say? You know very early how the route tree. The route tree is a very early thing, especially if you play receiver. Amon-Ra St. Brown is quick. What do you mean? What do you mean, Flying Wyatt? You say he's neither fast nor quick? He's got some quickness and some twitchiness now. That's how he gets that yak. Independent Aquaman, what up, though? Answer to the headline: yes, Morton is a better coordinator than Johnson. Bonus info: ex-head coach John Gruden was in Lions training camp this week. Yeah, we talked about that. Chip Bradshaw, what up, though? He says Days Gone was a great game. I still have it in my library. I just don't play it. I don't play a lot of anything these days. I'll be busy. Said, was Glenn Campbell still alive in 2021? I can't recall. I feel like that's someone I should know who that is, but I don't. I'm not even gonna address that one. That is such a terrible comparison. I'm not gonna do it. One of those things you are created with and you're born with. The other one of those things is something that you surgically do to yourself. So I'm not gonna talk about that one. The Last Dragon. Shout out Tactical Sport. He may have known there were 9, but he didn't know the routes. I mean, if you don't have to, you don't have to. But that's why you come in and you develop. You know, it's only a problem if you don't get them in your 4th year. You're like, I can't deal with these 9, man. All I know is go. That's all. So if you got that problem, then yeah. Also, The Last of Us Part 1 was great. I never got into The Last of Us. I did try to watch the show. I think I fell asleep. I just remember not remembering. Like, I don't remember what happened in the end of the first season. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm not a huge Last of Us fan. It's good. Like, it's a zombie game. I don't know. It just never grabbed me. I'm not saying it's bad. I never got into it. Oh, country singer. Okay. If it's a country singer, I don't know. Willie Nelson. That's as far as I go. Uh, what is that? What is that dude's name? Colby Keith or something like that. Um. Also, your pausable moment was ball. Oh, he's a deep ball getter. Pause. Okay. I see how that's a pausable moment. All right. So let's go ahead and get to this defense. Defense. A lot has been said about Kelvin Shepherd. I don't think anything has been said about Kelvin Shepherd to demean Aaron Glenn. So we don't slander Aaron Glenn over here, okay? Because Aaron Glenn went to the Jets. He's not a turncoat. He's not a terrorist. Now, if Aaron Glenn had gone to the Packers or something like that, we would have the same energy, okay? We would have the same energy that we have for Osama bin Johnson. I don't think that anything is said to slight Aaron Glenn. I know Aaron Glenn was very personable, and Aaron Glenn was the coordinator. What was he voted? The coordinator that people most wanted to play for, and this was throughout the NFL. So I understand that Aaron Glenn is a very personable guy, is behind closed doors, with his players, open door policy and everything. So when Terrion Arnold is asked a question about Coach Shep and what they like about him, is like, oh, the player coach relationship, he allows us to meet with him, blah, blah, blah. I know that Aaron Glenn used to meet with J-Mo every morning at 7 a.m. Like J-Mo would come into Aaron Glenn's office, and J-Mo is on the offense. He's not even one of Aaron Glenn's players. And Aaron Glenn took the time out to speak to him. It was an open door policy. So anything that they say about Coach Shep, for those of you Glenn haters, don't think that this is something different that they're saying, like, oh, we didn't see this before with Aaron Glenn. Oh, his door was closed. He didn't let us come. No, that's not what they're saying. I think they're just saying the same thing about Shep, because Shep did cut his teeth under Aaron Glenn. He did learn everything that he knows about coaching from Aaron Glenn, and so on and so forth. I think the difference between Aaron Glenn and Coach Shep is his intensity. His intensity is always there. You saw it there with Aaron Glenn. You saw it with Deuce Staley, but it's more of it's like a switch that flips on, and Aaron Glenn is now with that intensity. I think with Kelvin Shepherd, you have to turn it off, right? And that's what we've heard about him. He's so intense. He's this, that, and the third thing. Very, very knowledgeable, extremely knowledgeable. When Steve Spagnuolo, who is, I don't know if you can say he's top 3, right, in the NFL as far as defensive coordinators right now. He's top 3 and he's not 3. So when that guy calls you a genius, okay, you have to kind of, there's no grain of salt that you're taking that with. You're eating that up. Aiden Hutchinson, extremely comfortable with Coach Shep. Extremely, extremely comfortable with Coach Shep. Someone was saying that I think it was the heavies, that he kind of lights up when he talks about Shep. I feel like Aiden Hutchinson has a closer relationship with Shep than he had with Aaron Glenn. He had a relationship with Aaron Glenn. He had a good relationship but I feel like he's closer with Shep, and he always has been. As far as Aiden Hutchinson, reports out of camp is that he looks better than he looked before breaking the leg. Remember, Aiden Hutchinson came back from I think it was a broken ankle at Michigan, and had like his best season. He mentioned that himself. He said that, he had done that before. He did the same thing in Michigan, came back, had his best season. He said, this is the last one, by the way. Now, I hope it's the last one, where you have to come back from an injury, something's broken, something's torn, and then you have your best season. I hope it's the last one. But football is a 100% injury guarantee. So I can't say that it is the last one. I just hope that it is. Marcus Davenport has been getting rave reviews at camp. And this time last year, again, you were like, where is Marcus Davenport? Oh, he's over there in bubble wrap. He's not even doing team activities in camp. So the fact that Marcus Davenport is going through camp and he's in pads with everybody else and he's clanging and banging. You know, that's what we used to call it back in the day, clanging and banging. That's a hashtag moment. Shout out if you know, use the hashtag. It's recent. I just want to let you know, Amon-Ra St. Brown was involved in this conversation. That's all I can say to you, because I know everybody didn't see it. But so the fact that Marcus Davenport is in the trenches, clanging and banging, it's a weightlifting weightlifting reference. I don't need to pause that one. The fact that he's in there and he's doing work and he's quote unquote dominating in the trenches, I'm not going to allow myself to believe. I'm not, because I don't want to be sitting up here looking like a fool. Pants on the ground, looking like a fool with your pants on the ground. Shout out if you know, use the hashtag. I'm not going to allow myself to believe. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I got to see Marcus Davenport in the regular season go through week 1 and not get injured at the end of week 1 so that he misses week 2 and then play in week 3 for a quarter and get injured for the rest of the season. I have to see him make it past week 3. Okay. Yeah. And that's not a large ask. It's not. Okay. It's not a large ask. Albert Breer was talking about how good he looks when he was there at training camp. But again, the caveat with Marcus Davenport is always if he can stay healthy. That is always what it is. That is always what it will be. It is never not going to be that until he remains healthy. So until he can prove it, no, I'm not going to allow myself to believe. Okay? I'm just not going to allow it to happen. But from all reports, he's stronger, faster, more fluid than he has been in recent years. I hope it works out. I really do. I hope that it works out for Marcus Davenport. I know I've been dubbed the Marcus Davenport hater, and I've defended myself here many times. I do not hate Marcus Davenport. All I want to see is Marcus. All I want to see him win, no matter what. That's all I want to see for Marcus Davenport. Right? But unfortunately, right now is every time he walk up in that building, list on the IR go up. And they stay there, and they stay right. So he's listed on the IR. I don't want that to happen this season, right? I don't want that to happen this season. Now, this talk is premature. This talk is premature, but it has to be said. Brad Holmes, where's my camera? Brad Holmes. If Marcus Davenport stays healthy this entire season, balls out, don't you give him no contract extension. Don't you extend his contract unless you extend it in a way where, just like right now, incentive laden. You want to get that money, incentive laden. You guys to play. I don't have a problem with you signing Marcus Davenport to a 3-4 year extension, whatever the case may be. But that whole damn thing better be all incentives, right? You think you got the bag? Look at the fine print. Okay, we're gonna pay you $20 million next year, but you gotta play 17 games. If you don't play 17 games, that $20 million goes to 5, right? That's a baseline, right? That $20 million goes to $5 million. And then And then the $5 million is incentivized just like this $4.75 million. If you gave him a contract structured that way and he was willing to take it because he knows that he hasn't been healthy, I'm all for it. Sign him up. And if he plays 17 and gets you, postseason success, all that stuff, no problem. Give him that $20 million. But if not, no, sir. Not going to happen. All right, let me see what y'all are saying about this. Oh, before that, Terrion Arnold looks good. For those of you Terrion haters who thought that he was a bust, and I tried to tell you, okay, I'm a former corner. I tried to tell you, cornerback is the hardest position to play. You are running backwards and you are reacting to a human being who's running full speed at you and knows what he's doing. You do not know what he's doing. The only way that you know what he's doing is from tape and being in the moment, reacting. That's it. Okay, so Terrion Arnold, film study all offseason. For those people that were mad because he was rapping and he was putting it on social media, film study all offseason, looks phenomenal, going back and forth with Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is your number one wide receiver on this team. Making life difficult for Amon-Ra St. Brown because Terrion Arnold has always had super sticky coverage, as I've told you before many times. Okay, all right, let me get to what y'all are saying. Flying Hawaiian still doesn't believe that Brown is quick. I believe AG will be a good head coach too. I believe he will be a good head coach as well, but I think it's possible that he may be overshadowed by the cloud that hovers over the Jets organization. The incompetence. So like I listened to a podcast yesterday because I used to do this a lot last season. This is a Bears podcast because I want to know what they're talking about and I want to be informed about what's going on around the NFC North. That's kind of my job, right? It was very cringy, but there is still incompetence in that building. That incompetence may hinder Osama bin Johnson. So because there's still incompetence in the Jets organization, and I don't think it's ever going to change, that may hinder Aaron Glenn. I hope it doesn't. I hope he can rise above it. He was in that building as a player, so maybe he's used to navigating around it. I don't know. But yeah, I have high hopes for Aaron Glenn, but I don't. Because it's the Jets, I'm not sure. Glenn had the bad habit of not making halftime adjustments. Other than that, I had no issues with him unless his practices caused D players injuries. Hopefully not. Taylor May says there's folks out there who swear up and down that my man AG threw 3 interceptions versus the Commandos, not Jericho. Well, that happens, that happens. Let's see. What up, though, Burley Begley? Replacement of Ragnow and Zeitler is the key. That is the key to the offense. Tate Ratledge is not looking like he's going to be your center this season. As Johnny Moe said, they love Tate. He said, but we've got Graham in there now because that center quarterback exchange has to be right. That quarterback has to be comfortable. That has to be right. So I think, as I said before, and I can't say that my prediction came true because we haven't seen the regular season start yet. But as I said before, I don't think that Tate Ratledge is coming in as a rookie, taking the center spot from Graham Glasgow, because Graham Glasgow has experience as a center. He has experience as Jared Goff's center. So Jared Goff knows what he likes, or he knows what Jared Goff likes. Okay. So Jared Goff can be comfortable because he knows that this man in front of him is not thinking. He's snapping the ball and he knows where to go and what to do. With a rookie, he may be good and he may be picking it up quickly. But again, you haven't been in that position when the live bullets of the NFL have been firing. Okay. So I do believe that it will be Graham unless something happens. Mahogany is repping on the left side. So that's where he will be. So right now it's looking like Tate, Graham, Mahogany. Clanging and banging. Let me see. Davenport equals Swift. Facts. I can't. I think Davenport is more like serious injuries. I think Swift just like, oh, my hangnail, and he would just sit out because he didn't want to be in Detroit. Wasn't Pants on the Ground from American Idol? I believe so, yes. The old man again. Agree on how Marcus Davenport's contract should be. Yes, it definitely nothing but incentives. Arnold learned by week 6 how to properly play CB. I'm glad he focused on training. It's an adjustment period. When you come from college to the NFL, receiver is the one where they say you need 3 years. Not receiver. Cornerback is the one they say you need 3 years. It's a big adjustment. BJ wasn't yet ready to be AC. Plus, the Bears organization is also a mess. Not as bad as the Jets one, though. What do y'all think about Osama benching the whole first team? I know he didn't learn that from Dan Campbell. Tom Brady had multiple games of at least 4 interceptions each. Goff only had 3. J-Mo had the other one. Yeah, so the thing about interceptions is if they come in the playoffs, that's a bad time. If it happens week 6 versus the Houston Texans on Sunday Night Football, and you throw 5 and you still somehow manage to win, that's cool. But you know what? I rather would have lost that one and won the one in the playoffs against the Commanders. Okay, because losing that one in week 6 means that you continue to play. You got a game next week. When you lose the one in the playoffs, you got no games. That's it. They're done. And that's the fact of the matter is whoever's fault it was, whatever the team did not perform, they underperformed, and we didn't get done what we needed to get done. Benching the whole first squad sounds like setting expectations. Yeah, he's trying to create accountability. Here's the thing, right? And this is the last thing I'll say now about Osama. Osama thought that the grass was greener on the other side. He thought that Caleb Williams was exactly the quarterback that he wanted. He wanted to be able to do some off-script stuff. The problem is that Caleb does everything off script. He plays hero ball. I said this when he was drafted. coming in as a rookie, I said if he doesn't have a coach that can get him to fall out of love with hero ball, he is not going to be successful. I don't think Osama understood exactly how much love Caleb Williams has for hero ball. I don't think he did. Now that he sees it up close and it's, okay, we need to be on time here and I can't get you on time for something simple, now that pisses me off. And that's what he's dealing with, and I think that's what he's going to deal with. If he is able to get him to fall out of love with hero ball, then he will be fine. If he's not able to do that, then he's going to have problems, right? Goff understands timing. Goff understands precision. Goff understands, hey, when you're on that spot, when you need to be on that spot, I'm going to hit you because that's where you're supposed to be and you'll be open, right? Caleb right now is not processing things from a script. He's processing things from an off-script situation because since he's been a kid or in high school or whatever, he's been able to be off-script and it has worked for him and it got him all the way to the NFL. This is the problem. So it is it's a much deeper problem than what Osama thought. Right. So when he was over there, like, yeah, I never had a quarterback that could do all this off script stuff. He didn't really. You got to be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for, homie. You just might get it. All right. Mailbag. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they reading you? Mailbag. It's snicks, mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. All right. Tiger Story says Osama didn't watch any of his college tapes. I don't know. I watched all of it. I watched all of it. Somebody, as I've said this before, but if you don't know the story, someone on YouTube put together and I think it was his last season, every play Caleb Williams either threw the ball or ran the ball. And it was like an hour of Caleb Williams throwing and running. And I watched the entire thing from start to finish. And that's how I came up with Caleb Williams loves hero ball and he doesn't love to be on script. And I think I was pretty accurate. So, Caleb equals more extreme than Cam Newton. LOL. I don't. This Cam Newton thing. I'm sure you guys have seen it because Cam Newton says we got to stop this. Okay, an analyst is an analyst. Those who can't do teach. Okay, the saying goes: those who can do. Those who can't do, teach. Okay? And so a person that has an opinion, whatever you think about Cam Newton and his quarterback play or whatever the case may be, whatever you think about Robert Griffin, whatever you think about Dan Orlovsky, okay? If one of these people says something about a current quarterback, and I'm not saying anybody here did it, if one of these people says something about a current quarterback and it just creates this uproar, right? Jalen Hurts, I said it in a video because I was just looking at the video yesterday. It was about the fact that I said they could possibly go 15-2 again. And I said the key to beating, I think there's two teams that can beat us. Bar none, I don't think we can beat them. Is the Baltimore Ravens and the Philadelphia Eagles. And I said it was because of the way that they were constructed with that two-headed monster that was Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley. The first thing I said was the pathway to beating the Philadelphia Eagles was to make Jalen Hurts beat us with his arm because I don't think he can. I know Lamar Jackson can beat us with both. I don't think Jalen Hurts can beat us with his arm. Jalen Hurts last season threw for less than 3,000 yards. I rest my case. All right. Let's hope Williams never falls out of love after the Bears. Exactly. I saw some Caleb Williams snaps where he was consistently under pressure and he was trying to keep the football alive. You know what? I was watching somebody and they ran the numbers. Caleb Williams had the most time to throw in the NFL last season. The reason that Caleb Williams got sacked a lot was because of Caleb Williams. He was the most. So you have to make this make sense. How do you have the most time to throw on average? His average was over 4 seconds, which he cleared everybody by like 2 seconds or 1.8 or whatever. How do you have the most average time to throw in the NFL and you are the most sacked quarterback in the NFL? Caleb Williams' line was not the problem. He made the line look as bad as it did, not the players that were on the line. Also, I don't think the Bears' offensive line isn't quite up to snuff. Is or isn't? Because that makes a whole lot of difference. That makes all the difference in the world. Mailbag, Flying Wyatt says, what do you think of Lovett? I don't see him making the 53. Dominic Lovett, gotta love it. It's gonna be tough because from what I understand, Jackson Meeks is out there balling. And if they've got a wink, wink, nudge, nudge deal coming in with Big Z coming in, I don't know. Jackson Meeks might make it, but I do believe that Lovett has the potential to make it. But him being on the practice squad is not out of the realm of possibility. All right. What up, though, Brian Ruth? Dan is remembered for running out of the back of the end zone. I know. And Jared Allen was he was just pointing at him. Look at this guy. He doesn't even realize it. Yeah. Exactly. ESPN's Deep Analytics mentioned that the Bears OL was one of the best at pass protection. Yes. So Caleb Williams is garbage. How you have one of the best offense. So this is the thing. This is how you understand that Ryan Poles doesn't know what he's doing. All he looked at was Caleb Williams got sacked a bunch, so we have to retool the entire offensive line. So you spent a bunch of unnecessary money on the offensive line. You spent a bunch of unnecessary resources, trading picks, signing players. But that wasn't even the problem. The problem was your quarterback. And if you had just kind of self-scouted and looked at that, then you would have known that you didn't have to go out there and spend all that money and those resources. But shout out to the Bears for extending Poles for another 5 years. I appreciate you. We all appreciate you. Mailbag, why is there this drumbeat around Kyle Allen? How many W's does he have in the NFL? I think the drumbeat around Kyle Allen is because it's an indictment on Hendon Hooker if Kyle Allen can't beat him out. I think he started 19 games, so he's got the experience that Hendon Hooker doesn't have. I think he started 19. I don't know. Maybe he has 9 wins. I don't know. But, yeah, he's not great. A lot of his time to throw was him running around like a clown just to take a sack. Facts. Recheck. Let's see. Mailbag. Have we seen the last of Tom Kennedy? No. Tom Kennedy is a training camp legend. He is a practice squad killer. Dan Campbell said all he does is make plays. Obviously, he not making enough plays. But, you know, Tom Kennedy, He's carved out a niche for himself, man, and that is practice squad player. I'd love, you know what? I'd love to be in Tom Kennedy's shoes right now. I'd love to have just consistently made the practice squad every year of an NFL team. That would be fantastic. Right? Once again, I don't see Brad signing Big Z. Listen, we got to dream, Tactical. Okay? We got to dream because this Marcus Davenport thing, as I said, if we get left holding the bag, we all going to be pissed. Not just you and me, all of us. Dan, talking QBs is like when Matt Millen was given a job in TV to criticize people. Listen, Dan Orlovsky was not a good quarterback, but again, he has some insight having played the position. That's my point. Those who can do. Okay? Right? So those who can, Jared Goff does. Those who can't, Dan Orlovsky teach. Okay? So he knows what he should be looking for. Okay? Nate Sudfeld, absolute garbage as a quarterback, did help Jared Goff prepare for defenses and get him ready for games. Absolute garbage. Can't play quarterback at all. But Nate Sudfeld would probably be a good coach. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the same thing with analysts. You don't have to be an all-star to be, talking about football. I was wrong. Bears had the 8th best OL for run blocking and 15th best at pass protection the previous year. In 2023, the Bears pass protection was better, and in 2022, even better. Middle of the pack is fine. Not everybody's going to be the Detroit Lions and have everything. Chip Bradshaw says, do you think our practice squad is in jeopardy of getting poached by Jets and Bears? I think our practice squad this year will be in jeopardy of getting poached by a lot of people, a lot of teams. But specifically the Jets and the Bears, I don't know about that. I don't know. Especially the Bears. Like, Osama's already pissed us off by going over there. If you're now trying to take players, that's just an extra incentive for us to beat your ass. BTA 2 times a year. So Justin Fields used to have the same problem that Caleb Williams may still have. We'll see about Justin Fields. I mean, Justin Fields wasn't bad in Pittsburgh. He just wasn't particularly good. I think the skill set of Caleb Williams is far beyond Justin Fields. But yeah, system and coaching matters. Situation matters. So, Justin Fields wasn't a complete disaster in Pittsburgh. All right. Mr. Detroit City says, at least we have J-Mo. Facts. Big facts, my guy. I know you're trolling. I think Tim Patrick has a decent edge with him being with Johnny, Mo, and Denver. I think Tim Patrick has the edge because he's a veteran, right? And he was productive last year coming off the injury. Now he's got, a healthy offseason, healthy training camp. And he knows this offense and, he has good chemistry with Jared Goff. I think he has that edge. Isaac Tesla is making some spectacular catches in camp and everything like that. But again, this is why I don't remember, what was his name? The dude from Eastern Michigan. Was it Dylan something? Anyway, he was the camp darling. Didn't get he came on and got a camp invite because he went to a local tryout. And I'm not saying Isaac Tesla is that level of player, but I'm just saying training camp, things of this nature, we'll have to see it. I'm just kind of lowering my expectations for rookies and things of that nature. I think we're possibly playing our last JMO season. If he balls out like we think, he's gonna be effing expensive. Yeah, we got 2 more seasons with JMO. We got this one and next one because they picked up his 5th-year option. So I think we're good. Justin Fields never painted his toes. Caleb Williams has since birth. Facts. Did y'all see Caleb Williams on the Amon-Ra St. Brown on the St. Brown Brothers podcast when that man was talking about putting it in his schedule to go get his nails painted? I was like, what? This man is saying this confidently. He goes and gets his nail painted. Okay. What up, though, Zach J? You gotta get the times right, man. You always catch me on the way out. All right. So a couple more, and then I'm gonna have to shut it down. So I was told that the Bears were the offseason champions and would surely beat the Lions this year. The Bears are the offseason champions every year. It's not new. They are every year they're the offseason champs, and then they go 5-12 or 4-13. Tesla is playing almost like a tight end. That could be a nice wrinkle though. Oh, sorry. Here's my mandatory Broderick Martin hate. When we getting rid of that guy? I think fairly soon. You know what? I could see Broderick Martin being relegated to the practice squad this season. I really could. Because from all reports, Brad doesn't want to just outright cut a guy. I think he did the same thing with James Mitchell, the tight end? I think they moved him down to the practice squad before releasing him. So yeah. All right. I'll do this one more and then I have to get going. I've got some things to do. All right, I'll make it 2. So Brian Root says, been in Chi-Town praying for a real QB like he had. And this one, rumor has it, Ben Johnson has Caleb tatted on his lower back. Pretty wild. All right. I appreciate y'all, man. Everyone who tapped in from the beginning, everyone who came in late. It's been fun. It's been real. But as we say in the Motor City, once again, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. We came to give you stats and none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And we are out. Peace. We'll see y'all tomorrow.